I do have a great job. I love my job. It's very fun what I get to do. And it's a great way to expose people to Winterline, but also help them get through the whole process. I just love, it's just, you'll hear all about Winterline tonight, and it's a great fun time.
Absolutely. And my name is Ben Wellborn. I'm the Director of Outreach and Recruitment at Winterline. So my job is to go find the best students in the world and get them on our program, because it really is about fit. So, and I do again want to acknowledge that we are now past April 1st, which is a big deal in the United States. That's a deadline for a lot of colleges and universities as far as when they get back to students and say, are you in or are you out? So for a lot of people on this call tonight, there are going to be some of you who just got some awesome news, so congratulations. And then there are going to be some people who are still kind of filtering things out and figuring out next steps. And some people aren't there yet, and so we're happy to talk with you earlier on in the process. And some of you are way past it. But regardless of where you are, gap year can be a really good fit for a ton of different types of students. So we're here to talk about some options.
And Ben, we had a student last year who on April 1st did not get into the college he wanted to get into, and so he took our gap year, and he went for 9 months and really honed some skills and really worked on his application, and now actually he is attending Columbia, and he is in the international business program. Actually, he is in France right now studying for 2 years, and then he'll come back to New York for the last 2 years. But it just shows that yes, Winterline can help you and hopefully get you into, for him, it was the college that he really wanted to go to. And we do have those resources to help you with that process as you get through Winterline and do it with our 9 months.
Yep. And before we move on, I do want to introduce another person who's kind of in the background right now, but Cara Murray on our team is manning the chat box. So if any of you have any questions along the way, or want to say anything, then use that chat box and she'll get back to you as we go, and we can try to address some questions as we go too. But yeah, Alex did a great job of using his gap year to really shape where he ended up next, which is really the ultimate goal.
Exactly.
But what is a gap year, Susie?
Then this is from the AGA. Gap years, the American Gap Association, sorry. Gap years can be a time of personal insight. I think you had that when you were hiking. An exploration of possible future careers, or simply a way to recharge in a meaningful way. And Ben, I'm pretty sure you did a gap year. Tell us a little bit about what you did and why it was meaningful for you.
I did, yeah. So I did do my gap year in between high school and college, which is what a lot of people think of. But a gap year really can be any time of transition where you can take a step back and really assess your own priorities in life and dive into it too. So it could be, some of our students are done with high school, some of them are halfway through college and really figuring out what their fit is with their studies, and then some may be considering career stuff. So, but for my gap year, yeah, it was right after high school. My mom was a college counselor, so she said, yes, you should take a gap year, but as long as you are going to apply to college along with everyone else and then defer for a year, which is what I often recommend to students. Just that way you're not really concerned with anything like that while you're on your gap year. You have a good sense of where you're going to be a year later. But for some students, it's not necessarily the time for them to apply to colleges. So we do work with some families during our program too. But for my gap year, after I deferred, I ended up hiking the Appalachian Trail from Maine to Georgia, which is 2,174.6 miles, and it took 5 months. And then I was broke, so I worked a few different jobs, which I also recommend to students because it really does, it's a huge motivator. You see what types of jobs you can get right out of high school, and there's no better reason to go back to college to get a degree. So I worked in factories and I was a telemarketer and stuff, and then I ended up going to Peru and teaching English there, and was a camp counselor in New Hampshire for the summer. So big year, but it was before Winterline or a lot of other programs existed. So it was not nearly as productive or focused as Winterline, which is a big motivator for why I wanted to get involved in this program.
And you went back to school right after, you went back to college right after?
I did, yeah. So I ended up enrolling as a freshman at the College of Worcester in Ohio right after my gap year. And a lot of families, when I'm talking about gap years with them, and Susie, you probably get this too, they say, oh, I would love to take a gap year,
Mhm.
but I would never go back to school. And
Mhm.
statistically speaking, 90% of students who take a gap year end up going right back to school immediately, which is way better than the general public. So I call your bluff, basically.
Mhm.
But there are a lot of really, really solid statistics to back up the value of a gap year too. Susie, can you think of any
Well,
others?
the cool thing is, and our students will attest to this, is that many of the students that go back after right after a gap year will consistently maintain a higher GPA.
Hmm.
And our students, our alumni, are attest to that. They are saying they're going back much more focused, much more committed to what they want to do. It's really fun to hear their stories and how they've gone back and really dove right in and done what they wanted to do. They tend to be the leaders on campus, and it'll take less time to graduate. It's crazy. It's up to what, 4, 5, 6 years now getting through college. It can be really long and treacherous for some students, but when you take a gap year and go back, be more committed, it can really help. It can really
Hmm.
make.
Yep. And we got a question here. Why are gap year students more focused? Uh, every student's different, but typically students will have a wide breadth of experiences on their gap year. And we're going to talk more about this, but you're going to go through a lot of different experiences that most 18, 19-year-olds don't get.
Mhm.
And you're kind of checking things off as you go, saying, well, I was considering this path, but
Mhm.
having tried it out a little bit, no thanks. So you really start to move in on what you do want to pursue.
Mhm.
And yeah, I mean, it's a great way to avoid 4 years of the wrong major. There's a lot of reasons that it makes students more focused, definitely.
Well, Ben, the thing I see the most is the maturity. You know, they all gain that maturity, that 1 year of maturity. They're much just more mature in how they're handling things. And what I like to say about Winterline is we're exposing you to so many different things, is that you can figure out what you are passionate about, but also what you're not passionate about. And
Mhm.
that helps you with your career path in so many different ways.
Yeah, yeah. And another concern we get sometimes is, well, I did get into some really good schools. I don't want to miss out on that. And all the statistics that we're talking about have been compiled from seriously good schools. Middlebury, Harvard, Colorado, their admissions offices are where this data comes from.
Mm-hmm.
And across the boards, almost every school now is a fan of a gap year, just because
Encouraging it. Mm-hmm.
it's backed up by some really good numbers. So.
That's right. That's very true.
So there's a lot of different ways to do gap years. And having taken one myself and having, ups and downs and a lot of different experiences, I can confidently say that it makes a big difference, the type of program or experience you go into. So I always recommend do something where there are clear outcomes and clear deliverables. You're going to come out of this experience with, specific skills. You know how to do things, job experience, just breadth of experiences. In some cases, money, if that's what's important at that time in your life. There are a lot of different ways to measure it, but have measurable things. There are a lot of programs out there and people who measure a gap year by saying, well, it's cultural immersion or some other vague term. Cultural immersion is not a measurable thing. It doesn't tell employers or colleges really anything about you or what you're capable of. Um, so yeah, stick to things that you can say, look, because of my gap year, I am now in this situation and I will be impactful. Cultural immersion, again, I mean, I live in New York. I could go 2 blocks and have cultural immersion. It's not really uh, a impressive thing on paper.
That's right. So Ben, let's talk about Winterline.
Yeah,
So
please.
here's our first cohort. They will go for 9 months to 10 countries and they learn 100 skills. So let's dive right in and talk about what Winterline is all about.
Awesome.
So in our first trimester, it's called Land and Sea. And so that one, we're really living in the world and really trying to figure out those physical skills of taking care of yourself. And that's why we start out in Colorado, where we have our orientation. And that's a good time for students to get to know each other, figure out who they are, and do they have anything for their trip? We're about to go away for a while. And then we travel up to National Outdoor Leadership School in Knowles. And that's in Lander, Wyoming. The students will get a wilderness first aid. They'll earn that certificate. And then they do an 8-day hike or trek in the woods of the Wind River Range. It's a great experience where they really learn how to live on live out in the woods, stay warm, eat, cook for themselves, put up their shelters, everything that they need to do. From there, from the United States, we go down to the Central America, and we're going to go to Costa Rica and Belize. And this is another place where we're going to challenge you physically. You'll learn how to scuba dive. You'll learn how to sea kayak. We had one of our participants learned how to swim. They will learn how to, in Central America, also learn how to live off the land, food to table, learn how to work on a farm, learn how to do permaculture. So a lot of learning and living off the land and learning and living off the sea, which is really what we want to do, challenge you physically. We're going to end this trimester with a independent study project in Monteverde, Costa Rica, where we're going to spend some time with some merchants there, and you can either learn to work on the coffee farm, or learn to work on the farm itself, or learn how to measure trees or be in the treetops. So lots of different things they're going to do, but also do a homestay. So the first trimester is really about physically learning how to take care of yourself.
Awesome. So after that land and sea trimester, which, yeah, again, is how to take care of yourself. It's a lot more physical skills. Our second trimester in Thailand, Cambodia, and India is now about how to take care of other people and more interpersonal skills. So you cover things like healthcare, Eastern and Western medicine. You get certified in Thai massage. There are a lot of certifications throughout the entire program, but from there, you also learn how to cook for other people by going to culinary school. You learn Thai cooking. Hospitality, you learn by living and working in a hotel. And you're also going to learn, etiquette internationally. So how you should present yourself in different parts of the world and not make a fool out of yourself. And I was just telling Susie, I learned just by smashing through my travels and making an idiot out of myself. This really does show you how you should present yourself professionally and then also socially. Other interpersonal skills and caring for others, there's sewing and conflict resolution in Cambodia. And then once at this point, you know how to take care of yourself, you know how to take care of other people, then it goes to how do you present your ideas to other people and to the rest of the world. So in India, you go to film school in Bollywood and you make your own documentary. So you find a topic that you care about. And this is really, again, you're starting to really take charge of your education and decide what you want it to be. So you choose a topic you care about, you research that topic, and then you shoot and edit and produce your own documentary, and that's yours to keep, and it's awesome for your portfolio too. So it's another amazing trimester, and they're kind of building on each other at this point. So
that one's really challenging you mentally also in that trimester. It's a very good trimester. They do have a break from the first trimester to the second trimester where they go home for about 4 weeks. So there is a break before they go into trimester 2. And now as we go to trimester 3, we do have some breaks along the way and free weekends. But there is that break right in December and January for about 4 or 5 weeks, just so everybody knows that there is that break.
Yep. And a lot of people are concerned, am I going to be bouncing from place to place to place throughout the entire 9 months? We do build in some free time for you, again, to really kind of take charge of your own gap year a little bit. So we had some students, for example, in India last year who found out about a half marathon that was going to go on. So they ended up training for the half marathon and running it totally independently from the program. That was just something that they wanted to do while they were with Winterline.
It's really fun. That was great that they did that. I forgot.
Yeah. So from trimester 3, Susie, can you tell us about the third?
So the third trimester, building your future. And what's so much fun about the third trimester is really looking at all the skills we're developing and how we're really building on all these different things. So for example, in Italy, we're going to build on learning about art. So we're going to glass blowing. It's the coolest thing that they did, or mask making. So it's really looking at some art and really learning how to build that. In Austria, we did robotics, where we're learning how to build a robot. But also they learned how to code, so they could figure out how to put it through its path and figure out who could win the challenge of the robotics. Really cool how they built on making that a better model every day. I love seeing that. We also worked on the etiquette in the Czech Republic. They're going to work on more manners, etiquette, all these different types of aspects that are helping you to build as a person. Germany is where we're going to build a tiny house. The students built 2 tiny houses this year, actually. And it was really neat to see the skills they learned there, as well as driving at BMW. That's always a big hit. They always have a great time there. And then from after they do their independent project, which we'll talk about in a couple minutes, they then travel back to the United States. Well, they'll do startup boot camp, learn how to build a business. And then at their final week is a production that they will put on, a theatrical production about their entire 9 months. So really, we're building on our future, building on so many different things, and really putting all the 9 months together. And that's what that final presentation is about. I can't wait to see it. It's coming up so soon.
It's coming up.
Coming up soon.
This program is crazy. You do everything.
Everything. Oh, this is from Molly. Oh, Molly was just one of our just wonderful students. Every day is extraordinary. Every day I'm doing something I've never done before. And that's how I hope to live the rest of my life. What a great statement by Molly.
This says a lot. It first of all, it says a lot about Molly and the type of student she is, and it also says the type of student that we look for Winterline. It's obviously a very diverse program. You're going to do a little bit of everything, but we do want students who are excited for new experiences, excited to learn new things, and it does say a lot about the program too. I mean, you are going to do something totally new constantly, and it's exciting. And by the time you come out of this, you're going to be very well-rounded and yeah, really have a good sense of things. So.
One of the reasons why Molly really talked about doing something different every day is primarily because of the independent projects we have them do. And so we scaffold those. We build on those. I talked about what we do in Monteverde, the homestay, and the internships that they do there. In our second trimester, our students go to an ashram, which is a retreat center in India. And that's where they'll focus on holistic medicine, self-care, techniques such as meditation, yoga, art therapy. Students had a great time. They were with about 5 or 6 of them in a group, learned how to travel through India, but just had a great week there, really focusing on themselves. And then the third trimester is our big independent project. And this is where the students they take an entire week that they've planned throughout the entire year, and they have a $1,000 budget. They have to figure out who their partner is going to be, who they want to work with and shadow for that week, where they're going to live, how are they going to eat, how are they going to get there, how are they going to get back, all within their $1,000 budget. So we've worked really long and hard with them throughout the whole 2 trimesters leading up to this, where we get them to be independent travelers, safe travelers. They've worked on their emergency plan, how they're going to do everything that they need to do. And right now, actually, they're out on their independent projects. That's such a transformative week. We have someone biking in Italy. We have someone else rock climbing in Spain. We have someone else learning how to do pastries in France. Well, it's a fabulous week, and it's one that we really build up to. And that's what Molly was talking about, doing something different every day. And it was really it's just a fabulous experience for them all.
One thing I do want to clarify about the independent studies and the whole global skills program in general, you had mentioned safety and risk management. We didn't really talk about the structure of the program, but you do travel as a cohort, as a group, and typically it's around 16 students, and you travel with field advisors who typically, I mean, they're in their 30s, they have advanced degrees in relevant areas. They are really awesome resources for you, but they also, even while you're on your independent study and you do have your own safety and risk management plan, obviously our program is going to back that up with our own field team too. So our field advisors and regional directors, we can talk more about safety in a bit, but we have extensive risk management plans and everything in order too. And the field advisors, again, beyond just being there for safety and risk management, are just awesome resources for our students to really get the most out of their gap year.
Oh, and helping them through the entire process. They're wonderful people. They're wonderful people. They're great. Yep. So Ben, how do we apply? Let's talk about that.
Great question, Susie. All right, so our application process is pretty simple actually, but by the time we're done, we're gonna have a good sense of who you are and you us. But the first part is all online. It's pretty straightforward. It can take people, 25 minutes to do. There are parts of it that are your standard application as far as, where you're from, tell me about your parents and your school you went to and everything like that. But there are 2 short essays. And some of and I don't want to go too much into our students right now, but some of our students have been, 4.0 students since kindergarten. Others, the reason they want to be on this gap year is because a classroom has not been their natural habitat for learning. So really, when we're looking at the essays, it's a chance for us to get to know you. We're not going to put red lines under things and correct it. It's really just, we want you to be able to express yourself to us. So don't beat yourself up about it, but we do want you to submit those essays and that the rest of that online application. And then Susie, what's that Skype interview?
That's where I get to have my fun, Ben. I get to talk to every applicant. That's just one of the parts I just love the most. And it's not something to worry about. It's like a 30-minute conversation. We're really talking to get to know each other more. I get to know you, you get to know me. You can ask any question you want about Winterline. It really helps us to make sure that you have asked everything that you need to know about Winterline so that you know this is the right fit for you, this is the right program to take. I get excited because I get to know you better. So it's really just about a 30-minute just discussion, conversation that we really want to have to get to know you before you get into our process. That $100 application fee, once you submit that, we can get everything going and moving and hopefully get you on our program.
Yeah, it's a pretty quick process too.
Pretty good.
All right. So beyond the application, there is a tuition behind Winterline too. And as you look at the screen, I want to acknowledge that $55,000 is a substantial number. That is intentional. We want you to recognize that this is a big deal of a program and a big deal as far as being a part of your life. So yes, it is intentional, but it is also all inclusive. So that tuition and fees is everything. It's your flights, your food, your housing, your certifications on the program, any support that you need from us throughout the program, before, after the program, it's all included. So,
and that's big, Ben, because that international flight and everything, someone could come on our trip having paid that $55,000 and they don't really need much other money in their pocket. Maybe some money to buy some souvenirs or some extra snacks, but they've got that international flight done. Everything is there. So yes, it's all inclusive. Everything is inclusive. That's the key part of it.
Yep. So it is comparable to about a year in college, but we would argue that, and I love arguing about it, so we can talk as much as you want, but it is at least as impactful as a year of college.
At least.
And wow. We have limited time on this webinar, but I will give you my contact info and we can talk through as much as you want.
Exactly. And then, Ben, we do have that early bird application discount. Expires on Saturday, April 15th. So if you're thinking about submitting an application, make sure you get that in before Saturday so we can give you that $1,000 off your tuition, which is really great. Great way to do it.
Yep. No reason not to get it in. It's like 20, 25 minutes. We could do it while you're even listening to us, but still listen to us.
That's right. Listen to us much better.
All right. And so, yes, now that you know the tuition and fees, we do offer scholarships and financial aid. So there are a lot of ways to get that cost down. First of all is need. It's a pretty straightforward financial aid application. It's the same as any other need-based thing. So it's just your financial need. Your merit scholarship, again, we really are not putting a lot of emphasis on academic learning because we are all hands-on skill-based learning. This is real-world stuff. So when we talk about merit, we're talking about character. So what community involvement you've had, any initiative you've taken, any special circumstances you may have, if you have a family member you take care of, are you an Eagle Scout or a Girl Scout, anything like that. We want to hear as much as possible that you think makes you worth merit, basically.
Exactly. We do have 2 work-study scholarships that we do have. If you are into photography or videography and journalism. So if you like to take pictures, you like to do videos, you could always sign up for our video or photography scholarship. Or if you like to blog and write, we definitely encourage you to sign up for our journalism scholarship. It's something that we'll give you some money for, and then we can use all your information. And Julian, our social media guru, loves to see the photography and the journalism that our students give out there, and we put it right out to the world so everyone knows more about Winterline. The more we can tell you about it, the better it is.
Yep.
So do it.
And a lot more people are about to see it too because we're sharing this. So there are a lot of ways to stay in touch with Winterline and see what's going on. Our blog is full of tons of information. It's stories from students directly. A lot of our students will be blogging along the program. So it's a great way to see unfiltered, how things are going on the program, what you should expect or could expect for yours. Again, keep an open mind because every program is a little different, and the groups of students are pretty different too, but it's a great way to kind of get an eye into the program. Our blog also talks about, just general student experience on the program and gap years in general. So there's a lot of really good info about taking time in between high school and college or before careers.
And we do have Facebook too, Ben, and some of you might have seen some of our Facebook ads that are out there that pop up, and I'd love to see those, what Julian's created with those. It's definitely, Facebook is a way for, we've created one for each program to keep in touch with the families. So each program has their own Facebook page or group that the families can hop on and talk to each other or send pictures back and forth with each other. And it's a great way for you to see what we're doing in the organization and get some of our material out to you through Facebook also.
Absolutely. And then we have that Instagram. This program is made for Instagram. You're going to incredible places all over the world, and they are all totally different. So there are photos from all over the place with vastly different experiences along the way. It really gives you a good sense of the flavor of the program. We also do Instagram takeovers. So it's not just, baby boomers trying to figure out what students want to see. No offense. It's real students posting their own experiences on this thing. So for example, Mackenzie is one of our students. She just took over during glass blowing in Venice, Italy, and had some awesome shots from that.
Right, and that was a picture of Pradna doing the glass blowing. I'd love to see what the students are posting on Instagram, just sharing their stories and what they have. It's wonderful.
Yep. So just find us at Winterline Global Skills.
That's right.
Awesome. So we have a big program with a lot of stuff. This is obviously a limited forum for going over everything. And I know a lot of you have been asking really good questions along the way, and Kara's been answering a bunch of them. But I just want to say again that, and we have some more coming in that we're going to answer, but if for any reason, you're lying in bed tonight and you think of, oh, wait, I forgot to ask this, email us. My email again is ben@winterline.com. It's pretty straightforward. And Susie, what's yours?
Susie@winterline.com.
Aha.
There was one question, Ben, that I wanted to make sure we answered that Jack asked on the question and answer section. He asked it. And he asked how important it is to know the language of the region that we stay in. And so, Jack, the answer to that is we don't expect you to know the languages of all the regions that we stay in. And that's primarily why we work with a regional director who will or might know those languages. It's great that you have some Spanish. You can talk to your host family in Costa Rica. But if you do not have Hindi, as you say, that's okay. You'll learn to get across, and that's part of the experience. It's part of being immersed in the culture and learning how to communicate with others who you can't speak with directly because of the language. So it's not something that's required at all. So I want to make sure that question got answered for everyone, because I don't think everyone saw that.
Yep. Susie, I got another one for you too.
Okay.
Are there a specific number of spaces in the gap year program, or are there multiple trips to accommodate all applicants?
Well, Ben, we have 2 cohorts that we're hoping to send out next year. And so we have between 16 and 18 students on those cohorts. If we could fill a third, we would love to do that. So we are taking applications right now, and we will take them until July 15th. So that is our deadline, is until July. The early application deadline is this Saturday, April 15th. So get your application in if you can. Did that answer your question, Ben?
Yeah, I think so. And I just want to clarify one thing, that with our different cohorts, you will have your own cohort. It's a totally separate experience. You're not going to overlap. You're not going to be bumping into each other. It's a totally different gap year.
Yep. And you travel with your 2 field advisors who are very special. That will take you around, which is fabulous. And Kara's been doing a great job answering all the questions. Is there any questions over here that have not been answered or that we should highlight again?
Can I apply for financial aid and scholarships? Does applying for these affect my chances of being accepted?
Not at all, Ben. We want you to apply, and we would love to see your scholarship application come in. And then hopefully we can give you the money that you need to get on our program.
Yep.
So
One other question that hasn't, I don't know if it has been asked, but I get asked this a lot, so I'm assuming some people would want to know this.
mhm,
Do we accept everybody? And my answer is no, we don't.
no.
This is a pretty big program. It's 9 months and it's pretty
Mhm.
travel heavy, and you're going to have to interact with a lot of different types of people. So we, it's good for no one if the wrong student is on our program. So we really do want to make sure that our students are totally open-minded, really excited for new experiences, that they are, going to be safe on the program too.
Mhm.
So any, behavioral or health issues that would cause any risk to themselves or to others on the program, that's something we are not able or willing to deal with, really.
Well, we really want to make sure that it's the best fit.
Yep.
We want to make sure that Winterline is the best for you and you are the best for us. That's really what it's all about. And that's what the interview's for.
Mhm.
That's what the application's for. There was a question that just came in about how long will you hear back after after we apply, how long afterwards will we hear back? So once you apply, we'll then get you in the process, and Nora, who works in our admissions team, will get right on that and talk to you about that, and we'll set up an interview as soon as we can. And then once we have the interview, the admissions committee reviews everything we have and can make the decision, hopefully soon. So it is a very quick turnaround.
Mhm.
You don't have to wait forever like the colleges make you wait.
Nope. 2 weeks.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we definitely do it. 2
Yep.
weeks is what we're trying to do.
Yep. And so Susie kind of has two hats. She's our dean of students and director of admissions, and is really as hands-on as a family needs. So any questions you guys have, seeing her work in the office, she's extremely approachable and really helpful. So
Call anytime
bye.
or email anytime. We'd love to have you. I love to talk to people. It's so fun.
Yeah, not the introvert of the office.
No.
All right. Any other questions coming in?
No, Cara's doing a great job answering all the questions. That's why we have Cara behind the scenes. She does a great job. It would be very hard to do this webinar and then try to answer all the questions too. It would be very hard. It's very hard. Anything that you can think of, Ben, that we have? I think we answered them all.
Trying to think. Just more about the types of students we get. About a third of our students come from outside of the United States, and that is really just people finding us from all over the world, and feeling like it's a good fit, which says a lot. So even though you might be in Thailand, you might be learning Spanish from one of your fellow students, which is a pretty cool combination. And you're learning about different cultures as you go everywhere. Our first cohort ever was represented by 6 countries. Is that right?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
Yep. And it's only grown from there. So, and then on top of that, a lot of other, I'm drawing a blank here. Oh yeah, a lot of other programs, colleges included, like nationally and internationally, they are mostly female. If you average out all of our different programs, we're about 50-50 male to female, which is pretty unique.
Yeah, it's nice to have that. We don't have that direct balance this year, but we would love to have that every year, is to have it right that way. There is a question that I did see where I get asked all the time. Will I be able to have internet all the way around the world? Will I be able to talk to my family all the time? The 2 ways I want to answer that is, one, I encourage you to make sure that you have a communication plan before you come on the trip. Are you going to talk by WhatsApp? Are you going to FaceTime all the time? Are you going to Skype? How are you going to communicate back and forth? But the other thing I have to add to that is, we do not have internet all the time everywhere we go. So for example, when we're at Knowles, it is a rule of the National Outdoor Leadership School that you cannot take any of your devices out on the trip. So that's their rule. We abide by that rule. So that's one time, an 8 day time when you do not have any of your electronics. So you can talk to your family right before you leave and right when you get back. And what I say is no news is good news. They are in communication with me if there's a problem, and then I'll communicate with the family. But it can be a nice quiet time for everyone to just sort of say, okay, everyone's taken care of. We don't have that ability to talk right now. That's okay. There are some times in Central America where we don't have good internet, and we just learn how to deal with that. We learn how to live with that. In Southeast Asia, we're pretty good with internet, but the time difference is hard for families at times. And when we get to Europe, it is much easier. Back in the States, they can talk pretty easily if it's a United States person. Yeah. So sometimes we have it great and sometimes we don't. So we just have to be flexible with that and understand that as we're traveling around the world. That's really important.
Yep. You had mentioned Knowles and wilderness and lack of communication as far as phones and stuff. And I sometimes have students and parents say, is this a wilderness program? I'm kind of nervous. That's not really my thing. And this is an everything program. You're going to do everything. You're going to, throughout the program, be wearing hiking boots, a bathing suit, a suit, everything. So you're going to be learning so many different types of skills that it's not a wilderness program. And if you hate being outside and seeing dirt, it'll be over. You're going to go on to new things. So it is not a wilderness program. It is not a business program. It is not any one thing. And that's really the point.
Lots of different things, which is really, really, really cool.
Yeah.
That's what I love about it, is that they're able to do different things. And then on your independent study week, you can decide, what you want to do. What are you passionate about? Where do you want to go?
Yep.
Another student has asked how much spending money should they bring. It's really, that's a great question. So first, let's talk about banks and ATMs. Students we encourage them to have an ATM, but realize there is an ATM fee in many of the banks that they're going to get their money out of. So we just want that you to calculate that in your budget. The other thought is, in some areas, especially Central America, you can bring dollar bills. They will use the American dollar, and that's how some of their students will travel, is to bring some cash with them, and then be able to have that ATM card. Credit cards are definitely important to have, especially in the case of emergency. We want to make sure that they're able to do that. So spending money, about $10, $20 a week, it's really up to you. There are some points where you will not use any money. Knowles is a great example. There are other times when you will say, oh, I'm in Europe and I really want to have that latte or that coffee, or wherever you are, what you want to do with it. So you might spend a little bit extra on some snacks or something. So it's really up to you and your family. That's another thing I encourage you to work out with your family, is exactly how to make sure you uphold your budget and how you're going to manage your money as you go around the world. Are you reading another question? Oh, I've never made a budget before. Do the field advisors help with that? Definitely they help with that. They'll help you with the whole thing. Excuse me, I was coughing and choking. And so hopefully that helped you, Julie, to answer that question. If you can make it work with timing and budget. So Switzerland, we make sure that all our students are safe in where they're traveling to, and making sure that they are within budget of what they're doing. Any more questions, Ben? I'm going back to the other questions too. They're pretty good. Anybody have any other questions out there?
If not, again, Ben@winterline.com and Susie@winterline.com.
Definitely.
Anytime.
Oh, I'll answer this last one. Where does the program start from? The program starts in Estes Park in Denver, Colorado.
Got another question. Can my parents talk to some other parents who have done the program? Absolutely. We have very happy alumni and parents. So, and they're obviously going to be a pretty unfiltered version of the story too. So we can connect you with families that have been involved in the program in the past, and they're happy to talk with you.
That's a great way to do it.
So again, just contact us and we'll connect you guys.
Definitely. That's something I do often. Connect them all the time. It's good. It's good. Well, right. Ben, do you think we've told them all about everything we can about Winterline? Probably not everything.
In an hour and a bit, I would say so.
Well, we want them to email us or call us. And as you go on the website, you see that often Nora pops up, so you can talk to Nora. She can answer some questions too. She's on that during the work day from about 9:30 to 5 every day. So you can ask her questions there also. So good stuff.
Yep. So what do we want people to come away with knowing in the immediate future? What's an important date, Susie?
Saturday, April 15th, early application deadline. So we want to make sure that you get that in so that you can get that discount on your application.
Awesome. It's coming up Saturday, right?
Saturday, that's right. I can't believe it's the middle of April already. What's that about?
It's a fast year. Everybody's saying it.
I know. Well, our students come home on Monday, come back to Boston on Monday, home for me because that's where I live. Back to Boston on Monday. There'll be a couple more weeks left in the program. So our focus is on them for a couple weeks, which will be great fun. We're really looking forward to that.
Yep. Cool.
Ben, thanks for your time today.
Yeah, thanks everybody for joining us from all over the world. Again, if any questions pop up later on after we hang up, then please do email, call. Everything's on the website too, but Susie at winterline.com and Ben at winterline.com and winterline.com.
That's right. Winterline.com. Come see us anytime. And we're in Boston, so we'd love to have you stop by the office too. Or you can see our New York office, which is where Ben is.
Absolutely. And join us on the program.
Thanks, everybody. Thanks for your time tonight. We really appreciate it. And we look forward to talking with you very soon.
Have a good night, everybody.
Thanks, Ben.
Thank you, Susie.
See ya.